pretty incredible. This is pretty incredible. I mean, look at this dais. You know, how did we get them all here? One phone call and a couple of handy-capable buses. I know a comedian is never supposed to apologize, but just as this one time, I want to just once again apologize for this dais. The only one up here who's recognizable is Bobby Kelly, but that's because he looks like a beanbag chair. Channing Tatum's, they're not. When Joe Derosa is your hunk, you're like, what is this, a Shrek family reunion? It's the tough to look at crowd. Poor Judy Gold has to sit there in the middle of all those grotesquely shaped men. It's like the worst season ever of The Bachelorette. Once giants of their industry, they now spend their days trading Viagras and roasting one another at birthday parties. I feel like I should warn the eye, this is an old-fashioned roast, which would explain the lack of diversity. We're gonna make roasts great again. Okay, this is gonna be exactly like a Trump rally, except none of these guys have ever said anything half as funny as Trump.
Bonnie, how stupid are you? You literally left Los Angeles to move to New Jersey and marry Jim Florentine's crank yankers puppet. Not that Bonnie was gonna succeed in Los Angeles. I mean, you look like Jackie Earl Haley from the Bad News Bears. But she's a giving person. She always says, hey, he ain't heavy. He's my husband's teeth. I'm amazed you don't get cast in more things. You'd think casting directors would be fawning for a woman with a disposition and a body like Mick Jagger. Vos is so stupid too. Like he gave like this roast. He goes, I got 100 industry seats. This is not an event, you idiot. What do you think? People in the industry are like, let's go out on a Monday night. We'll watch this nobody get assaulted by other nobodies. Do you realize if a fire broke out and we were all killed, the headline would read, Colin Quinn and others killed at an event for somebody. We're celebrating 60 years of no accomplishments. And all of these faces on the day is you have not made a new friend in 25 years. This almost feels sad and abusive. Like, no matter how shitty your career is, if you attack Rich Vos, you're punching down. And Jay Oakerson, really, you normally dress like the bouncer in the club that Vito got caught dancing at in The Sopranos. Those stupid chain wallets and fingerless gloves. You look like the Cowardly Lion dressed up as Dice for Halloween. Too bad it's not 1985. You could star in a movie called The All-You-Can-Eat Breakfast Club. And the only reason Colin is even at this roast, it's his one chance to see someone older than him in show business who's actually accomplished less. Colin did an online show called Cop Show, and this is how you know it was awful. Keith Robinson, me, and Rich Vos were on it, and none of us had to audition. Doing these stupid one-man shows. It's nice you decided to model your career after Spalding Gray. I hope you follow his lead in your personal life, too. And the worst thing I could say to Joe Derosa is, hey, you remind me of Joe Derosa. And Jim Florentine, the only thing he's worse at than comedy is satisfying his wife sexually. Jim is doing so bad in comedy, his wife left him for a 22-year-old rookie cop, and people still accuse her of doing it for the money. Bob Kelly, Bobby, I see every year you're getting new glasses so you can see your feet. That's a great jacket. You look like Marlon Brando's wake. I did just write that. Yeah. And Vos, I gotta say, Vos has been around for a long time. His first gig was in 1971. His head made a brief appearance in The Godfather. And it's 2017. You can take Rascal's Comedy Hour off your resume. But they say in show business, cream rises to the top, and by the same token, garbage tends to sink to the bottom and then marry each other in Canada. You're actually a really great comedian, except for the fact that you're stupid and you're really bad at talking. You look like a ferret with Down syndrome. Vos was talking about his daughter, and he goes, she's so brilliant, I don't know where she gets it from. We do. Bonnie and whoever she when you were on the road in 2007. Vos, last but not least, on your headstone is going to read, born in 1957, peaked in 1991. Rich, you're one of my closest friends, and you know me better than anybody, and I love you like I love very few people the way I love you, and I really mean that. You're one of my favorite people who's ever existed. Thank you guys very much.
I was really only put on here because Keith dropped out. Keith, he's actually always claimed to be Hood, and now he's genuinely a Crip, so... Keith, does it bother Wanda Sykes that you can now only warm up the left side of the room? My brother, Big Jay Oakerson, is here from the Legion of Skanks podcast. Big Jay is a master of crowd work, which just means that he never writes jokes. The only thing that Jay works on less in his act is his relationship with his daughter. Big Jay looks like Papa Roach overdosed on Papa John's. Robert Kelly has an amazing podcast that I got my start on called You Know What, Dude? The answer to that question is diabetes. Bobby's lovely wife, Dawn, is here. Bobby only married Dawn because every time he said her name, he was reminded of what time he started feeding. Jim Norton and Charlie Sheen are Eskimo brothers. And that's not the only thing they have in common. They also used to be on shows with 2.5 Men. Colin Quinn. Very hard to write jokes for Colin Quinn. We all have so much respect for him. Colin Quinn rose to fame on SNL's Weekend Update. Now the only weekend update in Colin's life is his heart medication. Colin's resume is so shaky you would think he wrote it by hand. Colin, how many shitty films can you cameo in? Grown Ups, Crocodile Dundee 2, Babe, Pig in the City. Oh wait, that was Trainwreck. Joe Derosa is here. Joe looks like he's in the process of finding a bigger shell. Joe Derosa has every female comedian, which makes me think that fake confidence and undeserved success might be sexually transmitted. Bonnie wrote and directed the documentary Women Aren't Funny, but hey, unless they could be honest. At least. Edit that out. Bonnie also wrote a book called You're Better Than Me, which was published by Anthony Bourdain. Because if there's someone who knows good comedy, it's Chef Anthony Bourdain. This is true. Rich recently did a Make-A-Wish show, and that kid wished for more cancer. You and your wife spend all of your time robbing comedy club audiences of their admission fee. You're a modern-day Bonnie and Clydesdale. Rich, how do you play golf 5 times a week, yet your black friend still had a better stroke? Rich is from an all-black neighborhood in New Jersey. It's nice to see that he held on to his community's roots of not making it. Rich lost to Dat fan on the first season of Last Comic Standing, and then lost Dat one fan after his mom passed away.
Jim Florentine, I love you, Jim. What can I say funny about Jim is a question Jim struggled with for 30 years. Jim's first girl did kill herself. Can you date Judy Gold next? Rich Vos, I love you, buddy. Rich, your wife and club owners say the same thing about you. I think I up. No, Rich, you've done so much for all of us. You really have. Your career choices scared the rest of us into working really hard. You know you're at a Vos gig when there's an old guy making a Caesar salad at a table. He works restaurants. Literal restaurants. Vos wears these stupid hats. We all hate them. But I didn't know that. That's how he actually gets paid at the end of his shows. So I'm sorry. I have a door deal in my contract. He has a hat deal. Don't you have to go home, you little weasel? I love when Norton laughs, his neck just disappears. Listen, this is one thing I want to say. Bonnie dated this, before Vos, dated this beautiful guy, Nathan Fillion. And then she actually dumped this guy and now she wound up with Vos. Let's go over some of his credits. He was he was on Modern Family, The Big Bang Theory, Firefly. He did Serenity the movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, and a syndicated network show, Castle, on ABC. 173 shows on network television. He made $100,000 an episode. Rich Vos, credits, 2016. Carmine's Comedy Club, Poughkeepsie. Maxwell's, Hoboken, New Jersey. Oh, it gets better. Winston's. And an NA convention in Minnesota. Yeah. Your husband doesn't even work the club we're doing the roast in. Good choice, Bonnie. Good choice.
I just want you to take a look at this dais. This is the reason I'm a lesbian. That's it? What the fuck? Seriously! A lot of people don't know this, but for Rich's birthday, they're coming out with a new men's fragrance called Vos. It makes you smell like you're jealous of Louis C.K. They get applause breaks, I get shit! Okay. My friend Colin Quinn is here. I loved Colin for years, and he's so busy these days. One time, this is totally true, Colin, years ago, asked me to give him a pair of my most disgusting, used, crusty, period-stained underwear, the works. He said it was for a friend. So what'd you think, Norton? This one I can't do. Look at this dais. It looks like a bunch of criminals. I'd call the cops, but I don't want to remind Jim of his divorce. 400 Jim divorce. Goddamn shit. I'm going on first next time.
Oh, there won't be a next time.
Oh, that's true. Jim Florentine is here. Did you know that Jim is the only teen who knows who the hell Vos is? Go f*** yourselves, you f***ing assholes. I'm so happy that Bobby Kelly is here and I got to follow him because, you know, he makes me look like Karen Carpenter. So, by the way, they're also coming out with a new men's cologne called Vos Jr. It makes you smell like you're jealous of Pete Davidson. Thank you.
I liked it.
This one's gonna suck. Everyone uses their humor to get what they need. Derosa makes jokes to impress the girls, Bonnie to get people to watch her kid, and Bobby Kelly so that people won't complain when they have to sit next to him on a plane. Did you like that?
I did like it.
That was all right.
Why? People fly cargo?
I adore Joe Derosa, but he is so unattractive, his Tinder name is Swipe Left. Joe Derosa has a face only a mother could give up for adoption. Thank you very much. I'm gonna live off of that one for the next few. Okay. When I found out Louis J. Gomez was on the dais, I said, who? No, actually, I would talk shit about Louis's podcast, but I really don't want to upset his listener. If one of them said that, you'd be like, ah! Many of you know that Vos is a recovered addict. He was a huge drug abuser in the 1980s, and he was so annoying that even the AIDS virus said, no thanks. Richard. Richard is like the brother I never had. I love you so much. I can't even tell you. Our mothers were in the same nursing home, and they're both dead. But I have to say that when my mother met Rich's mother, she said, okay, that is the most miserable human being I have ever met in my entire life. So he comes by it honestly. But I love you, Rich, so much. You're the greatest. Happy birthday.
Oh, Bobby Kelly. Bobby Kelly. Oh, how the mighty have fattened. Anybody that knows Bobby knows that he is a man that won't swallow his pride. Unless, of course, you cover it in cheese and barbecue sauce. You look like Rosie O'Donnell shaved her head. I'm gonna start calling you Dom Keloise.
I like that. Can I have that?
Yeah. Colin Quinn is here. Tough Crowd fans in the audience. Good news. Good news, Colin told me backstage, the complete half season is about to be released on DVD. Colin Quinn, at one time, one of the great comedians alive. Watch his recent specials. He now sounds like the teacher that likes to have a good time with the class during the lesson. Stop trying to show us learning is fun, Colin. I'll tell you what's fun. Sitting around with a bunch of comedians and shitting on you on Netflix, stammering your way through the history of the automobile.
Colin stinks.
Doesn't Jay Oakerson look like Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes if it went to shit real bad? Jay's dressed like one of the brats. Jay, you look like you ate the merch stand at a Marilyn Manson concert. I used to tour with Jay. The amount of fat chicks this guy would bang. The amount of fat... Jay Oakerson has ruined more pigs than Oscar Mayer. Luis Gomez. Who else is bothered by Luis Gomez's Puerto Rican Charlie Brown head? Some people say they enjoy Luis's comedic voice. The only thing I enjoy about Luis's voice is that it sounds like he'll definitely one day get throat cancer. Jim Florentine. Jim Florentine had a TV show for 11 straight seasons, and still nobody knows who he is. Jim Florentine is the Sandra Huxtable of stand-up comedy. Speaking of Jims, Jim Norton over here with his giant dead puppet eyes. Look at that face on Norton. How has Super Mario not jumped on your head by now? All right. Jim Norton went from sidekick on one of the biggest radio shows ever to co-hosting his own show with Sam Roberts. Which would be like if Sam Roberts went from hosting a show with Jim to... I can't finish the analogy. Nobody's lower than Sam Roberts on the totem pole. Bonnie Mcfarlane, up tonight. Isn't this amazing? This is impressive. Look at the lengths this woman will go to not have to f her husband on his birthday. Judy Gold looks and sounds like Dr. Moreau merged a falcon with a Jew. Judy was yelling at all of you because you weren't getting the reception you wanted. Judy, write better jokes, that's all. Everything about Judy Gold screams louder than I do when I read about Rupert Murdoch. All right, Vos, Rich Vos. Look at you're dressed like you should be selling empanadas in Union Square right now. Rich Vos is officially the same age as my dad, which makes sense because my dad isn't funny either. I like to listen to Rich say his own last name because it's fun to hear how many S's he unintentionally adds. Comedians usually have, ironic nicknames. You see a fat guy named Tiny, see a sad guy called Happy, see a guy named Vos being called Rich. But here's the thing, sometimes an entertainer's initials actually describe the type of person they are. So, like Bill O'Reilly, B.O., he stinks. Bill Maher, B.M., he's a piece of shit. Rich Vos, RV, what your daughter will be living in very soon. It's a true story. I was in an Uber recently with my friend Patrick, and out in LA where I live, and we were going to someplace, and my friend Pat goes, "Hey, what do you got to do next week?" And I said, "Hey man, I got to go out to New York. I got to do the Rich Vos roast. So I got to start writing some jokes for it." And the Uber driver, who didn't speak to us for 30 minutes of the drive, turned around for the first time and went, "That'll be an easy roast." That is a true story. And I thought, doesn't that sum up Rich Vos? Well known, but not respected at all by the people that don't matter.
Bonnie is sadly married to Rich. I mean, what were your wedding vows, Bonnie? I promise to love, honor, and feature for you the rest of my life. I mean, you guys should have your own show, Unbookable Jokers. Look, you gotta hand it to Bonnie. She achieved her lifelong dream as a comic to come to America and get stupid rich. Bonnie wrote a book about her life called You're Better Than Me. Aaron Hernandez had a happier ending. You wasted more ink on that book than Voss's tattoo artist. Bobby Kelly is here, or as the industry calls him, Ralphie May's stunt double. Hey, Bobby, never mind doing stand-up. How about doing a sit-up? Hey, Luis Gomez, when you stand face-to-face with Robert Kelly, doesn't it look like you look into a funhouse mirror?
What the did I do to you?
Being a female comic wasn't easy, but Judy broke through the glass ceiling. I just wish she didn't use her face to do it. Colin Quinn is here. When you hear former Saturday Night Live cast members on the dais and you find out it's Colin Quinn, it's like turning on the Three Stooges and seeing Shemp. Jerry Seinfeld actually directed Colin on Broadway. He pointed him in the direction of the Port Authority and then took off in a stretch limo. Colin once told Howard Stern he had a cat lick peanut butter off his balls. That story gave me more douche chills than the Chip Chipperson character. Jim Norton is here. That explains the Amber Alert. Jim, don't worry, I won't shit on you too much. I know you have professionals to do that for you. Look, Jim is in great shape now, which is good for him because now he can wrestle to the ground a lot easier. Jim went from the Opie and Anthony show to the Opie and Jim show to the Jim and Sam show. Not only do hookers shit on you, so does the radio business. The Jim and Sam show? Jesus. That show is more worthless than Voss's will. Jim's happy that Joe Derosa's here tonight because he's not the ugliest guy in the room, so. Joe Derosa landed a great role in the critically acclaimed Better Call Saul, which is good because before that, his credits were Nikki Glazer. Joe Derosa is the comedy what Bill Buckner is to ground balls.
That's baseball, Bonnie.
Big Jay Oakerson is here. Jay, you smoke cigarettes and tons of weed. Your lungs are the blackest thing at this roast. You should change your name to Big J Belushi. Big J is Jewish and used to play a lot of black clubs coming up. You're basically Vos with career momentum, a normal speech pattern, and man tits. And give it up for the man of the hour, Rich Vos.
Yeah.
You know, Rich was born in 1957. Two major events happened. President Eisenhower had a stroke, and Mrs. Vos gave birth to a son who speaks like he had a stroke. Rich slurs his words so bad he's gotten 3 DUIs in the last year and a half. Rich and Osama bin Laden were both born in 1957. One has tortured the world with acts of evil and hate. The other is Osama bin Laden. Rich and Steve Harvey were both born in 1957. One hosts the legendary game show Family Feud. The other argues with his wife on the internet. Rich and Richard Jenny were both born in 1957. One had his career tragically end in 2007. The other is Richard Jenny. You know, when Rich comes to my house, I make him say, "She sells seashells by the seashore," and then I'm done watering my lawn for the summer. That's it, man. Thank you.
I gotta follow Florentine, who just crushed, man. Oh, my God. Your whole life is like a hip-hop soundtrack. 15 years ago, you're hanging out with Eminem, singing Real Slim Shady. Next thing you know, your wife is NWA police, you know. It's not funny. I mean, I don't know how that relationship didn't work. She was 22. You were coming home. Honey, I interviewed the drummer from Quiet Riot today. We got Bobby Kelly, a.k.a. Chinese Clemenza. I'm Irish. I'm Irish. Bob looks like a statue in the garden of a Yakuza boss. Bob gets in a lot of conflicts with the comedians. I asked him, "Who's your worst enemy?" He goes, "Captain Ahab."
I know what he meant.
You got Judy Gold. Judy, how do you stand living on the Upper West Side with all those loud, overbearing Jews? I like that haircut. It's, what you go in and say, "Give me the relief pitcher for the Mets." You look like a public advocate for the de Blasio administration. You got Luis Gomez, the Puerto Rican rattlesnake. What is it? How does a Puerto Rican rattlesnake shed skin? It's taking your shirt off on the 5 train? The only rattle you guys know is the one in the crib next to the stolen Pampers. You and Jay run Skankfest. What is that, Coachella for middles? Yeah. Big J, the tough Kevin Smith. You look like you should be scalping tickets to Uncle Cracker in 1998. And you got Joe Derosa, the only guy that moved to LA to become less well-known. He used to have that tattoo, the Colin tattoo, keep kicking them in the nuts. What is your tattoo now? Keep mildly amusing them in the alt rooms? Who would have thought you wouldn't have made it big with the charisma of an NPR listener? Jim Norton, he calls himself, use the stage name Jeff Lamp when you work at the club. Is that because your head looks like an Energy Saver light bulb? You look like everything on the platter at a Chinese restaurant where people go, "What is that?" You've been working out for 4 years. You don't look muscular. You look waterlogged. There's better definition in your sexuality. On a strict healthy diet and exercise for 4 years, and you look like Tilda Swinton. Oh, to the man of the hour, Rich Vos, a man who, he thinks backstage is a banquet room. He thinks all marquees have the chicken and rib special next to your name. Him and Bonnie brought down the house. Sorry, typo, she burned down the house. Bonnie is, as we all know, she grew up he saved her from a life in rural Canada. She should be fisting a calf while listening to Bryan Adams on a boombox right now, but it's a typical story of a fast-talking New Yorker, New Jersey, and a small-town girl who's spirited. That's farm talk for... She was the darling of the alternative comics. Do you think Patton Oswalt lives in a township? She could have hooked up with even those Canadian celebs, Will Arnett or Michael Cera. She could have ended up, instead she ended up with Justin Trudeau. And Bonnie brought Rich home to that farmhouse. I always picture that must have been like the first scene from Inglourious Bastards. It's said that this is our power couple, is Rich and Bonnie. You know, Kimye, Brangelina, what do they call them? Mac Hack? And I know Bonnie feels like if she was a male comic, she'd be further along. If you were a male comic, you'd be Jeff Dunham, and that asshole next to you would be jalapeno on the stick. But I love Vos. Who else argues with people when they say you're not funny? Only Vos will argue with you. He's the master of the counterpunch. He's quick as anybody. He's honest up there, and I love him.
Great news, Bonnie. You can go to a glasses store and pick out any frames now. You're not resigned to those poor Frank Serpicos you're wearing. The hilarious and super sexy Bonnie Mcfarlane. Although I started thinking recently if Bonnie's really hot or just the fact that she ended up Rich lets us know we all had a shot. Judy Gold, 6'3", 54 years old. Can I tell you some other celebrities? I looked up a list of celebrities with those dimensions. Motley Crue drummer and Hep C survivor Tommy Lee. African songstress and burn victim Seal. Roger the Rocket Clemens. TV's gay Eric McCormick. And finally, Evander the real deal Holyfield. I'll tell you who was not on that list of 54-year-old 6'3" celebrities. Judy Gold. Not only am I happy to see Judy Gold here, I'm also very happy to see her and Jim Florentine sitting in the same room because the last 16 years I thought they were the same dude. Jim Florentine, the live-action Beavis. It's been talked about tonight ad nauseum. Jim's had a rough few years relationship-wise. His wife left him for some CrossFit cop douchebag. Robin Quivers had him removed from the Howard Stern show, and one of his girlfriends actually tragically killed herself. Which begs the question, what won't a woman do to get away from a 50-year-old? To get away from a 50-year-old who sleeps in Kiss pajamas. In a guest house in Eddie Trunk's house. Joe Derosa, killed earlier. Joe Derosa's here. A lot of people don't know this, but Joe Derosa is a feminist. And, sorry, let me take it from top. A lot of people notice that Joe Derosa is effeminate. Joe, you look like the voice black comedians do for white people. I hate to get misty here, but I always say if somebody said it better, you should just quote them. But the late, great Patrice O'Neill said two of the funniest things. I think one of the first times he ever met Joe about DeRosa made me laugh so hard I thought I would just repeat them, and that was Joe came around, they were shitting all over his shoulders. And Patrice said that Joe DeRosa can never wear a book bag because it's going to end up around his elbows. He said that Joe's father can never have a sentimental speech with him because he'd be like, Joe, let me talk to you. Hey. Colin Quinn, the legend, of course, who just murdered. Colin Quinn's trademark knuckle biting is the get her done of physical comedy. What an amazing few years. A one-man show machine. You know them. Unconstitutional. The other one, something about being Irish. You can now buy them all in one set called the Jerry Seinfeld Owes Me One collection. Did you see Seinfeld kill a hooker or something? What does he owe you? Did you front him money for a road pussy abortion? Jim Norton, the great Jim Norton. Born in Bayonne, New Jersey, to his mother, a librarian, and his father, a pond turtle. Bobby Kelly, who murdered earlier here. They say some people have a face for radio. Robert Kelly has a body for podcasts. In the time I've known Bobby Kelly, he went, and when we first started hanging out together, Bobby was a muscular, handsome, just heartthrob. And now he is this boiled ham you see before you. I've seen Bobby Kelly eat. He don't give a Bobby Kelly would have a better diet if he was pulling anchor on a human centipede. It's just the two of us slamming bellies till one of us falls. And of course now the man of the hour, Rich Vos, everybody. Yeah. Rich Vos is the comedy world's Ric Flair. He has a decent body, but it's the texture and complexion of baseball mitt. Rich, you look like a lab rat they tested spray tan on. Rich Vos, the real king of crowd work comedy, is so connected to his audience that he actually feeds off their energy, which explains why Rich weighs 115 pounds. The good news is because he's so light, it's much easier for Bonnie to carry him through podcasts. Bonnie and Rich look like a Cialis commercial taking place in a bowling alley. 60 years old, right? And still working hard in the comedy biz, even though it looks like your outfit retired to Boca Raton 3 years ago. Rich used to dress like a guy who trained boxers in the 50s. Now he dresses like an Everglades homicide detective. We were in Atlantic City. I know I've told you this 1,000 times because me and my stepfather laughed about this for years beyond. And it was an all-black room, a hostile all-black room. Making black people stop dancing to start telling comedy never works. If you could spread the word, please. And I went up there and ate shit, and then Rich goes up there, and he was doing pretty bad, and he started talking to the audience, and this is where I fell in love with crowd work. He said, he goes, excuse me, sir. He goes, somebody goes, you're a black man, right? And the guy goes, nah, I'm Irish. And Rich Vos said, without missing a beat, he goes, what are you, a leprechaun? If you don't love a man who's got those balls, you love no one. I love you, Rich. Thank you so much, buddy.
Let's use it. Where's Anthony? Oh, there he is, over there. No matter what Anthony has gone through, he is a great broadcaster. No, whoa. I mean, he puts broads in casts. Okay. Keith, I really wish you were a Keith, man. God damn, how much I love you so much. I was with Keith when he had a stroke. We were playing golf. I marked it down. What?
Say, that's
What?
the most intellectual joke you've ever told.
Shut it. Yeah. Who'd you get on this?
I earned it the hard way.
I don't even know why I want to look at these notes. Judy, I loved you on the subway platform in Ghost. Judy, hypothetically, if you fall in the forest, does the industry still not hear you? Judy comes on stage singing it's Judy's show. We know by the attendance. So far, I'm 5 out of 6. Okay? If I stop now, I'm in the Hall of fucking Fame. All right, let me get to Bobby real quick. You could always get the crowd back with Bobby. I love you dearly. I love you. I'm telling you, your skeleton is fat. You shut up. Look at it. 5-hour energy only works 1 hour on you. All right. Look, I don't even need this. That's what a headliner I am. You can still get my CD on iTunes. Look at Bobby. Look at you work hard, but listen, if this fails, you still have that gig hovering over the Super Bowl. In Derosa. You whiny. I'm surprised Judy isn't trying to lick you. The fucking bone structure of a rodent. I'm telling you, if you were any more mushier, you'd be my mouth. Let me see where I'm at now. Norton, I gotta remember his. Norton has laid under more glass tables in Time magazine. They say Norton stole the show right from under Opie's nose, which is impossible because Opie's finger is always there. Bobby was gonna cancel this. When have you ever turned down a roast? Hold on, I forgot these. Boy, do I really know how to kill a flow. Big J, as I like to call him, Hack Sabbath. You do sit on stage. It must be exhausting doing Patrice, Attell, and me. You know, here's the deal. I made jokes about Bonnie's ass, but her ass is so flat, Kyrie Irving thinks it's a globe. Thank you. That's my smarter one tonight. If I walked out on Bonnie, she would just think she was on stage.
Don't you cross jokes off that have already been done?
What's that?
I did that joke about Joe DeRosa's birth parents.
No one remembers what you did. Colin, who... Oh.
Panicking, it's your roast.
I'm not panicking, I'm trying to find it.
Leave the glasses on, dum-dum.
It's like watching an illiterate pretend he knows how to read. Let me just shuffle these papers around.
It's like watching the Cosby Witness on the stand.
I didn't even get to Florentine. Holy fuck. Florentine had a one-man show, and the guy liked it. Colin, who, I mean, he's our get, so. Deus looks like the waiting room at Sloan Kettering. Colin got his big break on MTV's Remote Control. Ironically, now when he's on TV, that's what people reach for. You would think after all the times you blew your priest, your career would have been blessed. Colin hosted Tough Crowd. He had a great cast. 2 are dead now. 1 had a stroke. 2 do shitty radio, and 1 is a legend. Thank you. Good night.